Good afternoon. Just hold on, eh?
Good afternoon, doctor.
Yeah, good afternoon. Well, can you see my screen? You
Yes,
can, eh?
doctor.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to hold on. What is the problem now? Right. Okay, that's good. Okay. Can see my screen. Again, where's my screen now? Hello, everyone. Okay. Welcome to the class. You can hear me well?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. But why you cannot come to the front? Eh? Okay. I want to have this. Can you see the screen clearly?
Yes.
You did? All right. I think oh, I cannot come to the big one now. Sorry about this. So everyone is here. I haven't got this problem before. Everyone can see the screen, right? Can you see the screen? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doctor.
But how do I make this to be big? Yeah. Got some problem here. This one, is it? No. The way that it's been presented, it cannot come as a big screen. Is it because of the notes? No way. Sorry about this, I just come back. All right. Because of this. Been there. And I already closed that one. Is it device setting? Focus. All right, okay. So you can see me, eh? All right, you can see the screen. Okay, so welcome to the class. Assalamualaikum. A very good afternoon, evening, you say, to all. You can see the screen. So this is the software requirements engineering class. Can I see some of your? Can I see some of your face? I see some of your face. Can I hear you? Hi.
Yes.
Hi, doctor.
Hi, doctor.
Okay. Okay. So actually, our class will be every Monday, yeah, just like today, hopefully. But there will be some maybe some weeks in which I may have to go out, so we cannot have the online class, yeah. But please feel free to actually contact or email to me, yeah, if you have any problem. Oh my God, why is this? All right, this is better. Okay. The assessment is not that clear, yeah? Can you see the assessment?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, actually, what we try to do for this class actually is to simplify it because it's supposed to be fully online, yeah? I hope that you can actually try to work together, yeah, with me in the group. So what we are going to have for your continuous assessment That is not clear. Never mind. I just read for you. If you actually, you can get all this information from your course, yeah, from your course information, the current course information in the spectrum. I already uploaded, yeah. So hopefully you can, try to understand, yeah, what we're trying to do for the whole semester. Yeah, we have the schedule. Of course, the schedule is tentatively, yeah, going to be followed. Yeah, we hope we can follow as closely as possible to the schedule. But of course, sometimes there can be like some hiccup that we cannot actually follow, yeah, because of the something that come out, yeah. So basically, our continuous assessment will be 50%, yeah, like I mentioned to you in the slides. We're going to have two projects, project 1 and project 2. Both are actually group projects, yeah. You can try to form, I think the same group actually can perform project 1. And then as well, you can actually go through and then also do the project 2, yeah. All right, so and then the project 1 will be 15%, yeah, project 2 will be 20%. I already specified actually the basic things about the projects. If you read through in my spectrum, I mentioned about project description, yeah, but of course we can still discuss, yeah, if you want to get to know maybe some questions from some of you about the work that you can do, yeah, we can do that during tutorial time, yeah. All right, so you're going to have project 1 and then project 2. All right, and then we're going to have so I can see this one a little bit. All right, you're going to have for the project 2, you're going to have to record your presentation, yeah? So that means that, at the end of the semester, when you try to perform your project 2, you coming up with the projects, as well as you're going to have your presentation for the project. So because of I would say, the limitation of the time that we might have online and so on, what I recommend to do is you're going to record your presentation, yeah, for project 2, and then send to me by week 14, yeah. And then for the next the assessment, the next part of the assessment is about it's supposed to be final exams, yeah, but I'm trying to be more, flexible. What we're trying to do is to have just 2 quizzes, yeah, but the quizzes we have quite a few of questions, many questions, yeah. So we're going to have quiz 1 and quiz 2, yeah. So these will contribute to your another alternative assessment, yeah, which is about 50%, yeah, 25% and 25%. Anything that you want to mention? Any questions before I proceed? Anyone?
Doctor.
Alif? Aman? Amar? Any questions? Can you hear me? Oh, you try to unmute. Did I mute everyone? Oh, you already unmute. Oh my God. So you cannot speak. I tried to unmute you. Anyway, what happened here?
Doctor.
You can speak, eh? All of you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
okay.
can. I thought that I already unmute. All right. So any questions before we proceed?
All good.
Good. Okay. All right. So what we're trying to, okay, I proceed, yeah, because you said that everything is good. All right. So let's see the reference book. Yeah. So because of the, I try to understand all of you because of maybe we don't have, we're going to have a very, what we call everything online, right? So what I'm trying to share with you, one of the main textbooks will be already uploaded to the spectrum, yeah, so you can actually use it, yeah, hopefully just for a few weeks actually, because this is to do with, because we just want to use it for this course, for the educational purposes. Please make sure that you don't pass this to just anyone, yeah, because this is supposed to be just for this course, yeah. So the book is available, yeah, you can make use of that as a main text, yeah, for this course. But of course, the main thing as well, I also refer to some other books, like the one that I mentioned here, the Carl Poe book, as well as the Carl Wiggers book, also very, you can get actually all these ebooks, yeah, if you try to search in certain of the repository, they share to you. So these are all actually quite very useful references that you can still read if you want, yeah. Okay, so but the main text as well as the slides that I provide and discuss with you every week, hopefully this can help you very much, yeah, in understanding the course. All right. Oh, I'm going to have a problem because of the text is not that clear. This one also not clear, eh? Never mind. Okay, hopefully. All right, so this, what is the course about? Okay, I would say that this is about trying to learn how to know exactly what to build before we can build it. Yeah, so for any soil systems that we want to develop, actually, the main basis that we have to be very clear is we have to know, we must know exactly what to build before we can build it. Yeah, because we want to set, especially we actually develop most of the soil systems to meet the customers' needs, to build the organizational needs. Yeah, so we need to exactly know what they want, and then we try to develop the one that can actually achieve their goals. Yeah, so that is basically about this course. And of course, you will see as time goes, there are so many things that maybe sometimes we think that is very trivial, but actually this will contribute so much, yeah, to the success of any software systems. Yeah, all right, so of course, yeah, yeah, I got problem here because some of these are not clear. How do I do this? Oh my god.
Sorry to interrupt you, but everything is perfectly clear for us.
It's perfect for you, but I cannot see very well.
I don't know
Because the slides is very what we call, never mind. I try to open here. It's perfect for you. Why is this like this? Yeah. Can you hold on, because I try to change the slides. Yeah, the slides, because I cannot read the slides. I'm sorry about this. Just hold on for me. Please bear with me. I just try to change the thing before I upload. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Okay, much better, I think. Yeah. Okay, sorry about this. Okay, so we're talking about the main reference and then ethics, yeah, a little bit. I'm sure you know about this. Okay, so these are the learning outcomes, yeah. So what we try to achieve for this short 1 hour or and a half will be to understand, try to make sure that we all understand try to differentiate the concepts of requirements and the requirements engineering process, try to see how this RE fits into various software development process model. We want to know the 4 major activities, yeah. In RE, we want to know the 3 types, yeah, of requirements and know the various types of stakeholders that we may face, and as well as try to know the skill. Yeah, what are the important skills which are important for requirements engineer? All right. Okay, so I go direct to the thing. Yeah, of course, I mentioned to you earlier about our projects. We have 2 projects. So basically, these are the elements that you might want to be prepared. You try to form the groups of 5 to 7 person, yeah, for your project 1 and project 2. Yeah, so this is like, you know, the project will start, yeah, as by next week, hopefully. So you already have the group, and then you can register your group inside the Kiwi that already upload to the Spectrum. Yeah. Okay, so we talk about requirements engineering. Yeah, you need to know what is it. Yeah, why is it important? And then, of course, as the time goes, yeah, you as a software engineering students, you'll be growing, try to understand how to develop systems and so on. So also important for you at the end of the day, you know how to actually engineer the requirements, because that is the most, you know, the most important, yeah, elements, yeah, in any software system. So that is the purpose of this course. We try to actually, you know, look at the main activities, what are the things that we can actually important for us, how actually we can get the requirements, yeah, who are the requirement sources, how we can specify those, how we can negotiate them, how we can validate them, manage them, and all these actually, yeah, are the questions that we try to answer, yeah, in this course. All right, so of course, the main element before we go further is to understand what is the requirement. Yeah, we talk about requirements engineering. So you might actually try to think about, yeah, the first thing, try to venture into the term. Yeah, what do you mean by requirements? Yeah. So of course, this is if you put it in the general sense, you can have a requirements on how to develop a swimming pool. There are also requirements. Yeah, you can have a requirements on how to actually develop a futsal. Yep, and so on. Yeah, but what we're trying to mention here is basically, or you know, very specifically, what we mean by the software requirements. Okay, so this is the term that is already been defined, yeah, in many you know, because we already have a discipline by itself, yeah, since 1970s, 1980s. So we already coined the term, yeah, so requirements, and try to provide a very precise, yeah, definitions for the software requirements. Yeah, so basically we can summarize this term into at least these 3, yeah, definition. Yeah, what we refer as a requirement is basically a condition, yeah, or capability needed by the stakeholders, yeah, to solve the problems or achieve certain objective. Yeah, so actually a requirement, a software requirements basically is like the capability needed, yeah, by the stakeholders. So you'll be asking us as well, maybe you try to understand as well what you mean by stakeholders. Anyone? What is a stakeholders? You have seen, of course, you have already, you know, most of you, I'm sure, have some understandings of what we mean by stakeholders, right? Patricia? You want to point something to me? You want to share something? Alif? What is the stakeholders? Everybody is shy, is it? Anybody? What is this possible understanding that you might have towards the term stakeholders? Stake. What is a stake? Daniel? Anyone want to mention to me anything?
Is it risk?
Yeah, good. Who is that? Li Kuan. Yeah, Li Kuan. Good. What do you have in your mind when the stakeholders come come to our discussion?
People who take risks.
Yes. What is the stake? The interest, right? Yeah. To someone that has the interest. Okay. So to someone that has the interest can be considered as stakeholders. All right, Lee Kuan? Good. All right. At least you are the volunteer. Okay. I don't want to talk to the wall, so I hope some of you can actually participate as well. Yeah, in this class. No problem. You just share something. Yeah. All right, so basically, yeah, so the second definition is the condition or capability that must be met or possessed by a system or system components to satisfy the contract, standard, specification, or other formally imposed document. All right, so this is basically the definition by the IEEE organizations, yeah. And of course, all these, because requirements usually is very important, it can also serve as a contract, yeah. So as like, the business contract, yeah, between the customers and the developers, yeah. So that's why we need to actually document all these requirements, yeah. So we always mention that the documented representation of the requirement is of a condition or capability, yeah, in number 1 and number 2, yeah. So that is basically, very straightforward definition of the requirements, yeah. All right. And of course, when we talk about software requirements, we mentioned as well that we want to develop a capability, for example, most of the time you're not going to support everything in the business organization. It's not possible, yeah. So sometimes you want to develop, I'm sure you have the experience of trying to register a course in University Malaya, right? I'm sure I heard a lot of complaints about the system, but but of course you can say that, yeah, when we develop software registration systems, yeah, we actually have more requirements than what has been served, yeah, inside that systems, yeah. So that's why most of the time when we start to develop software systems, yeah, basically try to identify their requirements, we try to scope them. Yeah, the scoping need to be done. What does it mean? Actually, we try to scope some of the things that can be performed by the human, and some of the events or the activities that the services that can be served by the systems. Yeah, so it's impossible for us to develop a software system that can actually fully cover the whole business organization or business process. Yeah, it's not possible. So one of the important steps as well in actually try to look at the requirements and try to specify the requirements, first of all, is to do the scoping, yeah, requirement scoping, yeah, because we know that not all the steps in the response to the business event can be or shall be done by the system. All right, and some business steps are best done by the human, yeah, rather than by the system, yeah. And of course, there can be several systems as well, yeah. Like the University of Malaya, you can see that we have several systems, yeah, working together, so we can scope them, yeah. So some requirements can be covered by the student registration systems. Some can be studied can be supported by the library information systems. Some can be covered by the student information system. So we can actually try to scope those requirements accordingly, yeah. And scoping means to decide which part of the work shall be handled by the developing system. All right. All right. So having said that, we also have to understand that requirements comes in hierarchy. Yeah, it can come from the hierarchy. So we cannot mention that everything has the same unit. Yeah, some actually requirements, if you notice, yeah, I will give you examples later. As time goes, yeah. Some requirements are actually a very big bulk coming from the business requirements. Yeah, we have the business requirements of the University of Malaya to serve all stakeholders, to enable the University of Malaya to achieve higher ranking, for example. Yeah, so that is a big business requirements. So we have to, try to subdivide them into the lower scale. Yeah, we can have the user requirements. Yeah, the user requirements is what the user want. Yeah, maybe the user like me Like you, yeah, the student shall be able to register for the course. So that is the user requirements, right? And then we can also refine further, yeah, to have a more novel. So one user requirements can also be subdivided or by refining into several system requirements. So system requirement, you know, you can have a set of system requirements that can serve one user requirements, yeah? So we can have system requirements. System requirement, for example, the system should be able to notify if the registration process is successful. Yeah, so that is a system requirement. You can also have another system requirements. For example, the system should be able to be, to allow the user to browse all the available courses to be registered. So these are system requirements. Yeah, so you can see that requirements actually can be in the hierarchy. Yeah, from the higher level to the more refined level. Yeah. Maybe we can say at the higher level is more on the organizational requirements or the business requirements, yeah? At the higher level, which is very big, and maybe very, what we call, can be further refined, yeah? Because at the higher level, yeah? And then we can have more refined level like user, because there can be many users. It can be, like the students, it can be the administrators, it can be the librarians, yeah? So all these might have their own requirements that they want as well, yeah, but of course these requirements can be redundant as well, yeah, for each other sometimes, yeah, and then you have a more refined requirements, which is the systems requirements, yeah, which is very specific, yeah, sometimes what the system should be able to do in response to the event or in response to what the user requests. All right, so that would be in terms of user requirements, yeah. But today we're going to look at least, yeah, besides we having said the hierarchy, we are talking about types as well, yeah. The most common, yeah, the most common. Try to classify those requirements, and we can say we can classify into 3 basic types of requirements. Yeah, the first type is what we refer as the functional requirements. Yeah, functional, what it can do, what it can provide to you. The second one is the quality requirements. Yeah, quality, I mean, in terms of performance, in terms of security, in terms of reliability, in terms of usability. Yeah. And then we have a constraint, yeah, as well, because sometimes, you want the systems should be able to work in certain platform, yeah, that can be the constraints. You want the system should be able to actually finish within 6 months, for example, that is a constraint. The system should be able to be developed using, waterfall model or, agile model. So that is also the constraint. So the constraint is what actually close down the solution space. So, so you can have this, yeah, at least 3 most important, three most important types, yeah, of requirements. All right. Okay, so this is what I tried to explain to you just now. We can put in a more concise, yeah, definition. A functional requirement is a requirement concerning the results of behavior, yeah, or the services, yeah, that shall be provided by the function of the system. Yeah. And then we have the quality requirement. So the quality requirement is the requirement that pertains to the quality concern, yeah, that is not covered by the functional requirements. Yeah, it's more in terms of the performance, the security. So you can also sometimes, yeah, these are actually very, very close related, yeah, to each other. So maybe one quality requirements can apply to several functional requirements as well. Yeah, and as well as you can mention, so there are actually a lot of relationships between these two. Yeah, and then we can also have a constraint. Yeah, a constraint is the requirements that limits the solution space beyond what is necessary for meeting the given functional and quality requirements. Okay, so these are some of the details, yeah, about the quality requirements that we mentioned earlier. So performance, what we mean by performance is basically, your response times, yeah, behavior and resources. So we can say when we want to develop a certain system, doesn't mean that all these quality requirements should be there, yeah? So we should be able to actually get these requirements from the users. Which quality requirements do they think is the most important, yeah? Based on their context, yeah? Based on their, what are the things that they want to do, yeah? Based on their objective and goals, yeah? But at least we are actually aware. So these are actually, yeah, there are many actually quality requirements that is available there, yeah? All right, so let's see the examples here so that we can relate to what we have mentioned earlier. You are familiar with this one. You might have an assignment, right? Most of you have been very successful in performing your programming, yeah, Java programming and so on here. So you might have a course assignments like this, write a program. Someone want to read for me? Chang Wei, can you read for me the course assignment? Chang Wei, are you there? Hi? Are you there? No, Daniel Harris. Please participate. Please, if you let me remember your name, that will give you higher marks for your participation. Anyone to read for me the course assignment? Amar? Yes, who is that? You raise your hand. Who is that? Okay, can you read for me?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, who is that? Who is that?
Me.
Can I know your name first?
It's
Can
me,
I know
doctor.
your name? Hi, can I know your name? Please. Anyone here?
Tabir.
Haris, is it? Okay, Haris, can you read for me? This one, course assignment. Come on. You cannot unmute yourself, is it? Can, eh? All right. Okay, come on. Before we go next, can you read the course assignment? Oh, Marijana is there. Can you read for me, Marijana? You're there.
I can read for you.
Yes.
Course assignment.
Right.
Write a program to read a list of students' marks, sort them in increasing order, display the sorted marks, and display the lowest and highest marks. The program must be available 95% of the time starting 1st June 2019 and provide lecturers with the ability to save mark locally.
Thank you so much. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you. All right. So you can see, so this is like the the requirements, yeah, that has been simplified, yeah, in your as a problem, yeah, statement. So you can actually derive, yeah, some of the functional requirements that is required for the program, right? So we can say, for example, the program that you want to develop shall be able to read a list of marks, right? Sort the marks in increasing order, display the sorted marks. So if you want to write in a proper format of requirement statement, you can say the system should be able to read a list of marks. The system should be able to sort the marks in the increasing order. The system should be able to display the sorted marks, right? The system should be able to display the lowest marks, and the system should be able to display the highest marks, and the system should be providing the lecturers. The system shall provide lecturers with the ability to save the marks locally. All right, so this is the main thing that we have identified or extracted, yeah, as a functional requirements from this problem statement, yeah. And then we also have quality requirements, right? If we can say in terms of the quality requirements is in terms of availability, right? So the program should be available 95% of the time, yeah. We can say, yeah, in terms of percentages. So be very, very specific. Yeah, so it's recommended, yeah, to have all these requirements very specific. Why? Why should we have it very specific? Because at the end of the day, you want to do the testing. Yeah, you want to actually test those requirements and mention that you have successfully fulfilled those requirements. Yeah, if you're not putting it in a very specific way, how are you going to do the testing? How are you going to say to your users or customers that you have fulfilled those requirements? So that is very, very important, yeah? You'll be able to specify, yeah, requirements in a very specific, yeah, measurable way, all right? So of course, we also have a constraint mentioned in the problem statement. For example, here, the program should be completed by April 1st, 2021, for example. I already changed it. I'm sorry about that. But actually, yeah, so it's like the constraint, And maybe you can have that this program should be developed using Java programming language. So that's also another possible constraint, for this particular program that you want to develop. All right. So this is example of functional requirements, quality requirements, as well as possible constraints. Okay. Okay, so I mentioned here as well, maybe you want to classify to me, some of you, so that we have the interactive class, it's not just one way. Okay, so let's say the first one, can you mention to me whether it's a functional, quality, or constraint? All right, so the first one, the system shall allow users to search for an item by title, author, or ISBN. So you can put in the comment, some of you. Can you put in a comment, number one? What type of requirements is that?
Doctor, I think we can't put a comment.
You don't,
Yeah, we can't because we are not part of the team.
Oh, okay. So next you can actually try to apply to come to the team, I'm going to accept you. You know the team name, right? Okay, for the next lecture you can apply to join the team, All right. But you can talk because you can give me the possible answers,
I think the first one is.
Sorry?
I think it's functional requirement.
Right, thank you. That's very good. Number one is functional. How about number two? The project shall go into productions in June 2019. Sorry?
Constraint.
It's a constraint, yes. How about number three? The system shall allow new user to learn from the user interface.
Functional.
It's functional, yes, it's functional. Yeah, you can mention because it doesn't specify. It can actually, if you want to make it into quality requirements, you have to be more specific. You can say the system should be learnable within 30 minutes by the new user. So that means it will become, in terms of learnability, So that can be in terms of the quality, But in this case, because it's quite general, we can say it's a functional requirement because you mentioned the functions that it should be able to do, okay? All right, how about number four? The system shall support at least 20 transactions per second.
Quality.
Very good. How about number five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the system facilities which are available to public users shall be demonstrable in 10 minutes or less.
Quality, doctor.
This is quality, in terms of what quality is that? Do you think?
Constraint.
Maybe, doctor.
Maybe,
doctor. The system facilities we are available to public users shall be demonstrated.
Yes. Sorry? Louder.
Number 5.
Yeah, number 5. What type of this is a quality requirement? But can you mention to me what type of quality is that? Not sure.
Performance.
Availability.
Yeah, sorry. Louder, Ziad. Zamil.
Yes. Maybe it's performance, doctor.
Performance, maybe, it's demonstrable, in terms of demonstrability, it's able to be demonstrated, all right. Okay, how about next one? The system shall run on Windows and Mac OS.
Functional.
Constraint.
Yeah, good. You can see, sometimes there is some, you can say, you can actually make it closer to which one, in this case it's closer to the constraint, because we specify should be run on Windows and Mac, okay. The last one, users must enter my card number to sign up.
Functional.
Functional.
Functional, very good. Okay, so you can see these are some of these examples of functional requirements, quality requirements, and constraints, and these are the things that you're going to actually extract from the stakeholders, be able to specify them, in a very, very understandable way, in a very understandable, so that you can actually do the testing later on, based on the requirements that you have extracted. You're able to specify as well as be able to do to make it testable. Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. Okay. So we talk about stakeholders. So who are stakeholders? The one that might have interest in your systems directly or indirectly. Yeah. So sometimes when you develop systems like I keep on giving you the same thing, maybe the library management systems. Yeah. The library management system. So who are the direct stakeholders of these systems? Anybody share one example of stakeholders of library management system? The direct stakeholders.
School.
Yeah,
The librarian.
the school. The librarian, very good.
Librarian.
Yeah, the administrator of the libraries. But who can also be the stakeholders, but indirectly? They don't use the systems, but they are the possible stakeholders as well for the library information systems.
Student.
Yeah, but the student is using it. I'm sure you're going to interact with the systems, right? You want you to borrow the system, the books and so on. Who can be the potential stakeholders, but they are not direct stakeholders?
Parents.
Sorry?
Parents.
Parents? Yeah, possible, yes.
And then
Who else?
Management.
Management? Yeah, the sponsors, yeah. Maybe the VC, the vice chancellor, yeah. Maybe the deputy vice chancellor, yeah? Research, yeah. So all these people might have interest, yeah, but they may not be using it, but they're going to give a lot of influence, yeah, to the systems, yeah. So these are the potential stakeholders. So you can see in each particular system that you want to develop, you might have several types of stakeholders. All right, potential stakeholders, you have to identify them, yeah. So it can be like, for example, domain experts, business analysts, yeah, the one that is inside your team as well, yeah. External regulators, lawyers, yeah, the one that can check the systems whether it meets the legal requirements or not, yeah. It can be of course, the people, the internal team, the customers, the user, yeah, and so on, yeah. So these are potential or example of stakeholders in software development projects. All right. So another thing that we also have to bear in mind is that, yeah, there's a very important thing, yeah, because we're going to understand, yeah, what I mean by requirements. You have to understand, because when people talk about requirements at first, sometimes it can be very vague, yeah, because most of the times when we start to actually identify requirements, we just start with the ideas, right? You just start with the ideas. I want to do this, you know, it might not be so tangible. You cannot see unless you draw it, yeah. And then when you talk to the customer talk to you, you try to actually understand what they try to get I mean, what are the things that they want to communicate. Yeah, so that is the reason, because it's really most of the time they are talking in language, and the language can give us a lot of what? A lot of visual images, yeah. So maybe the same thing that people talk, A talk to me using this thing, another fella talk to me the same thing, but I might have different visual image about it. Yeah. So, and at the same time, sometimes when the stakeholders talk to you, they may not be so clear what they want at first. Okay, at the first, maybe after second meeting, you discuss with them, they get clearer ideas. All right, third meetings, they might have clearer ideas and so on. Yeah. So that is the reason we said, if you want to put in the pictures, yeah, the pictures give us more 1,000 words, rather than just one word. You might actually sometimes when you talk to the customer, the way that they explain to you, you might visualize like this. This is what they want, how the customer explain it. But when you talk to the project leader, they might be understanding, they understood it maybe a little bit different, right? The second picture there, right? And then you talk to your system analyst, yeah, because sometimes you get this information from your customers, and then you have to talk to your project leaders, and you have to talk to your system analysts. They might have different picture. This is what they think the system that you want to develop is. And then when you talk to the programmers, when they write about it, this is what they picture in their mind. All right. And then when you talk to your business consultant, you describe it, they may think, oh, you need to market it and so on. Why do you put the software and everything? Yeah. So they might picture differently as well. And then when you try to document the projects, you're not so sure. You start with nothing. Yeah, it's like this. And then you start operation, you might have just initial rope there. And then when the customer want to be billed, you want to have a lot of money for that, right? So you want to picture that they have developed so much, right? And then how it was supported may not be so much. Yeah, you don't want to support so much, so you might have just a picture like this. And then at the end, what the customer really need is just this. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that the difficulty is, the requirements lies in the difficulties of understanding what the users want. Yeah, that is the problem. Yeah, sometimes we might understand differently from what the users really want and needs. And that's the reason we have to specify them in a very specific way. If possible, try to use certain models and so on, and then validate them and then negotiate with them. Yeah, and then try to make sure that what they have said is what you have developed is what they have said, what they want actually. Yeah, so that is the issue of requirements engineering process. Okay. Okay, so this issue, yeah, I've been mentioning that. So can we summarize like this, yeah? So the issues of requirements, the requirements don't reflect sometimes, yeah, most of the time, the requirements don't reflect the real needs of the customers for the systems, yeah? And sometimes you have it, requirements are inconsistent. If you talk to stakeholder A, or customer A, this is what they want, and then you talk to another customer B, they might have different requirements as well, and then you have to talk to customer C, they might also have different view if what they want, so they can be inconsistent requirements from the users or from the customers. And also sometimes at the end when you already design them, develop them, at least code, some coding, it is expensive to make changes to the requirements when they after you have actually developed the codes and so on, yeah, and then you're going to show back to the users or your customers, and they said this is not what I want, so you have to change, and the changes at that time is expensive. Yeah, so that is the problem. That's always the issue. Yeah, so it's best to have the requirements correct from the early on. Yeah, so you should be able to validate requirements first before you go to the next phase of designing and try to do the development and so on. Yeah, it's cheaper to do the changes at the phase of requirements phases. Yeah, rather than go. Can you imagine? It will be like 100 more times. Yeah? You have to do the changes at the development phase. Yeah, already developed. Yeah, the changes or the expenses will be more expensive, more than 100 times actually, according to these studies, compared to the one that you can do the changes from the early on. So that is important for you to actually focus and know how to actually collect correct requirements, validate them, yeah, before going through the other phases, okay? And what happened when the requirements are wrong? Systems will be late, it will be unreliable, it will not meet customers or business needs. And you will actually, if you don't meet the customer's needs, that means your companies will not be able to get the chance to get another projects for the same company, most likely, right? So you miss the opportunities, right? So that's also the great risk, yeah, for not be able to meet the customer's needs. All right. So these are the, studies being done, yeah, from the early on. That's the reason actually, because when they do a lot of studies for software development, they find out for most of the year, yeah, the Standish, this Standish group of, this Standish group, yeah, actually try to do the surveys, try to understand the reasons for project failure from the early on, 1970s, yeah, until now, they keep on, yeah, most of the time, what they find out actually, many of the percentages why the reasons for project fail will lead them to say that most of these, more than 60%, yeah, is actually come from the problems in requirements. Yeah, they can be either the project has incomplete requirements, lack of user involvement. Actually, when they have lack of user involvement, meaning that you don't get the correct requirements because the users do not involve in your projects, right? And you have lack of resources, you have unrealistic expectation, lack of executive support. So all these changing requirements didn't need any longer. So all of these actually can contribute to at least 40 to 50%, yeah, reasons, yeah, that the project failed, yeah, that make the project fail, yeah, because of that. All right, so even until now, yeah, even until 2020s, yeah, surveys that have been done, yeah, because we still have, yeah, the study been done, yeah, most of them shows that, yeah, major failure are due to the inadequate requirements engineering process being performed. Yeah, they don't actually do requirements engineering process very well, yeah, in understanding requirements that lead to the reasons of failures. You heard about white elephant projects in which the project has been completed but no one to use it, nobody wants to use it. It's a waste of money, yeah, even though, why? Because most of the time the project does not try to get the correct requirements. That doesn't actually get the involvement of the users. Yeah, the users, if you don't get their involvement, at the end they will just don't want to use it because they don't think that is relevant to them. Yeah, you can relate that to the Maya system. I'm sure you can see. Yeah, also we cannot say much, but of course they didn't get so much requirements from us. That is a problem as well, I would say. Yeah, that's make the Maya is so difficult to be used as well. Yeah, so that's my view. All right, so having said that, why we need to actually, based on these problems that they have studied year by year, they have actually recommend from the 1980s, yeah, from the early 1980s, yeah, until now, they start, understanding or this awareness that actually we should be able to do requirements engineering process more systematically. Yeah, in other words, in a engineering approach, using the systematic approach means that in a more structured engineering approach rather than just ad hoc kind of approach that we use for understanding and getting requirements, yeah, for the soil systems. Yeah, so that is what we can say here. Why should we engineer requirements? Requirement must be correct and complete in order to build the right systems, and the requirements are often unclear in the beginning. That is normal, yeah, but you need to refine them, do a lot of discussion, try to actually give them, try to validate the users and so on, because of course at the first time, yeah, when we try to understand any system, is quite blurry, right? It's not clear, but the process should be there, yeah, to ensure that we are able to clarify, yeah, all those uncertainties, yeah, for the systems. All right, and the projects must be handled. Projects most of the time must handle large numbers of requirements, yeah, especially current. You can think about before this, you'll be writing, your Java programming. I'm sure most of you have projects like 1,000 lines. It's normal, right? Yeah. But you think about any of the, any of the current systems, like the one that we embed in the modern car, like the Mercedes-Benz, like the BMW, even one features need thousands of lines, yeah, to actually implement one features of that. So you can imagine there's a lot of complexity in any systems that we develop currently. Yeah, so that's the reason as well. We need to have a very systematic and engineering approach to be able to understand the requirements. All right. Another thing as well we try to illustrate here is that, at the end of the day, when you go and talk to your users, your customers, they talk to you using the business words or the organizational words, right? Using the words. But at the end of the day, what do they expect from you? To develop a program, a very concrete program, specific to 0 and 1. Yeah. So that is our job actually, to translate what we can understand from the, the vague kind of things, yeah, from the words that they mention and so on, to the very specific of the software world, yeah. So that is our job actually. Yeah, it's a very big task that we need to do actually, because what we get from the users usually is quite blurry, ambiguous, yeah, and then we have to clarify them, yeah. So we are just like the bridge, yeah, to actually convert what they want, maybe some imaginary as well, some ideas as well, some vision as well, some goals that they want, and then we have to convert them to a very very specific software systems, yeah. So that's the reason we have to be equipped with all the skills, yeah, the skills that necessary, yeah, to be able to do that, because this is not this is not an easy task, yeah. So we as a requirements engineer has to actually perform a very, very huge task, yeah? Actually converting the uncertainties, the unblurry things, the blurry things, the ambiguous things, yeah, to a very specific systems that you want to develop. All right? All right, so then we try to define, yeah? Try to actually give you some scope, because of course this is a very big thing. We talk about requirements, it can be anything, right? So now we try to scope down, okay, what are you going to study, all right? So we have to actually define what we mean by requirements engineering, yeah? We're going to use the framework introduced by one of the professor, yeah, in the book, Klaus Paul there, yeah? He tried to actually clarify, yeah, the important elements, yeah, in this display that we should be able to understand, yeah. Of course, you can read some other books, they have their own views as well, yeah. It's fine, yeah, if you want to be able to get the scenarios, what's happening, because this is a new discipline as well, yeah, this is a new discipline, and people still do a lot of research in this area as well. So of course, there can be many views, yeah, there's not just really one particular thing you have to follow, this is the only right, no, yeah, because this is like the discipline, yeah. So of course, we try to make sure that you understand the area, you can try to apply this, yeah. And then of course, you can get some views from others, textbooks as well, yeah. But of course, we try to make life simpler by having to focus on one of these definition lah, yeah, given by Klaus Paul, yeah. Okay, so what he means by requirements engineering is a systematic and disciplined approach to a specification and management of requirements, yeah, with the following goals. So the goal that we have is to know and understand the relevant requirements, yeah. So you can develop a system with so many requirements, yeah. But is it possible going to satisfy your users? No, right? So also you have a constraint of resources, time, all these things. So that's the reason what is the most important, focusing on the relevant requirements, okay? Requirements that is going to be relevant, yeah? Even though it's, sometimes you want to put this sophisticated requirement and so on, but if it's not relevant, take it out, yeah? So we should know and understand the relevant requirements, and then document those requirements according to the standards so that it can be shared, by all your teammates, your customers, and so on. Checking requirements that meet quality criteria. You want to achieve consensus among the stakeholders about the requirements. That is the idea of negotiation, yeah. And then you have to manage the requirements. Sometimes the requirements are everywhere. You have to manage them well, yeah. You have to minimize the risk that the software does not able to be designed, yeah, to meet the requirements from the business world. All right. So these are the 5 goals, yeah. Understanding, eliciting relevant requirements, documenting them, checking the requirements to meet the quality criteria, try to achieve consensus and manage those requirements. And then, of course, you have to be aware as well that those requirements are actually, embedded in the context, yeah? Because you cannot just understand, okay, I'm going to develop, because the requirements that you develop, for example, yeah, you develop the student registration systems for University Malaya. The requirements come from the UM context. Is it going to be similar if you develop the student registration systems in the University Putra Malaysia? Are they going to be the same? Zamil? Are they going to be the same? Yes.
What?
If I develop the student registration systems for University Malaya, are the requirements going to be the same as the student registration systems in University Putra Malaysia?
No, daughter.
No. Why?
Because different universities.
Yes. What are more differences that exist between them?
Difference by registration system.
Yeah. So what's the difference between UPM and UM? Lee Kwan, you want to add?
Both are in the UM is on the federal territory, but UPM is on the Selangor state.
Yes, exactly. What else? It's okay, Zamir. Thank you. Maybe someone else want to add more. Why is it different? If I develop the student registration system for UM and the one that I developed for the UPM. Lee Kwan, you want to add something? Anybody? You're tired already at this time? Marley, just now. Who's my friend just now? Buddy, are you there? Chong Wei, how? Are you there?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So, I mean, why is it different when I want to develop the student registration system for UM? Then the one from, if I develop the student registration for University Putra Malaysia.
Because the content we need or requirement may be different based on the subject or requirement of the school,
Yes.
teacher, student, or those things. So make it different in the end.
Right. Thank you, Chong Wei. So that's very good. So that means what is trying to say is that because the system context is different, right? The people are different. The system that they may use may be different. The vision that they have for the system will be different. The objective will be different. So even though the name you can call it the same, but the features that you're going to develop will be definitely different. All right, because most of the context, the comments coming from the system context, right? Part of the system environment. Yeah, being relevant to understand the systems and requirements. Yeah, all right. And then you as a requirements engineer, your job is to get this, yeah, requirements from the context, yeah, to be able to develop or design your system. All right. So that's what he's trying to say, yeah, the context of the requirements. Okay. So, so I think it's all right. So this one is about the what are the core activities, yeah, within RE process. We can say you have heard the words that I mentioned earlier. So we have at least 3 core activities: requirements elicitation, requirements documentation, and then you have requirements negotiation. So these are the main activities, within the RE. We also have another 2, still important, we call it, validations and requirements validation, cross-sectional activities, and the management, because this come across, you have to manage, even during negotiation, you have to manage the requirements, even in documentation, you have to manage the requirements, even the elicitation, you have to validate and manage the requirements. So these 2, validations and management, are actually cross-sectional activities, been done, the whole process of RE, okay? And then we have what we mentioned as the requirements artifact, the one that we develop, the things that we develop, the elements that we develop, the one that we try to elicit from users, the 3 main elements that we mentioned is the goals, scenarios, and the solution-oriented requirements, meaning that all the models that you have developed, the scenarios, maybe you have familiar with the UML, right? Models like class diagrams, all these, activities diagrams. So all this is considered under solution-oriented requirements, So you have this, I mentioned you the books, and then also some, elaborations on the activities that we have mentioned earlier, the requirements elicitation. The next lecture, we focus on that one, but at least we know requirements elicitation is to obtain and refine requirements, from the stakeholders. You can get that from the stakeholders. You can get that from the documents, the documents that you go and get, all these many forms and so on. You can also get this from the existing systems, the manual systems that might be there, So all this you get requirements from, And then you have requirements documentation. You need 2 actually, because most of the project will not just run for the short while, Most of the project will need to go on, maybe need to maintain, need to update, need to actually do all these maintenance processes. So that's the reason as well. It's very important to have a proper, documentation, So requirements documentation refer to how to document, the formal statement or the statement system requirements, And then we have the requirements validation and negotiation. Validation refers to check for consistency and completeness, and then to analyze and requirements and to resolve conflict. So it's also possible, I'm sure, because of the different perspective, people have different perspective, different values, different views, and so on. So there is a possible to have conflicting requirements as well. So you need to actually be able to negotiate, with your proper stakeholders, to reach the consensus, to reach the proper consensus to be able to develop that kind of requirements that you have been resolved, And then you also have requirements management. Requirements management refer to make requirements traceable, to prepare requirements view for different stakeholders. So actually management involves a lot of things. Yeah, you have to gather requirements, you have to arrange them, and then after that you have to make sure that from these requirements you're going to extract or develop the next steps, the models, and then after that you're going to develop the code based on the thing. So you need to be able to keep track as well the traceability from one document to another, from particular codes to previous, from where this come from which model, and from the model from which stakeholders and so on. So that's what we refer as the traceability of the requirements. So all of these are important. Why? Because especially there are many contexts in which requirement traceability is important, but most of the time it's very important when you want to do requirement changes. If there is a change that you have found that need to be done in the code, you need to trace back where does it come from. And then you have to make sure that you are able to reach the proper stakeholders. They're going to validate those changes that has been made. All right, so we mentioned as well a little bit here, just not to the purpose of these 3 slides that I'm going to actually go through, just to say that in any methods that you use, in any current methods, even the waterfall model, requirements engineering has been one of the important phase in the model. You learn this right inside your, I think, software in the previous course, right? Like 2 or 3 courses that you have done through. You learn about software development process model. There are many. Why they develop the models? They develop the model because they want to help the software developers in ensuring that the project is going to be successful. So you see that there are, at least there are many models actually. And people of course follow this model to ensure that they are in the very systematic way on developing particular systems. So the simplest model that we are referring is the waterfall model. So you see in our waterfall model, of course, one of the phase in the waterfall model is the requirement phase. All right. So before they try to they have the project initiation, and after that they're going to do requirements. But of course, waterfall model is a sequential model. Sequential. They have to finish the PI and then they go to the requirements phase. After the requirement phase, they go to the analysis and design phase. So they are sequential. But of course, still important for them. They know the importance of having proper requirement phases. And then we also have what we refer as a rational unified process. This is also one very what we call well-known model that has been used. It's come from the IBM. It's also still relevant. There are companies that are using it. What they try to actually improve. The RUP is developed to improve the waterfall model, because there are some lacking in that, because waterfall model is sequential, right? So most of the project does not actually go in sequence. What they happen is that they're more iterative. Right? So that's why RUP try to include the idea of adaptable model. The organization can make it more adaptable to their organizational needs. So they have all these phases, but also important for them. Besides after the business modeling phase, they have the requirements phases in which they try to get the requirements. So even though they have like iterative, meaning that they can have starting with the 3 features, for example, develop them, do the business modeling, understanding the requirements, do the analysis and design, do the testing, do the development, and then after that they go back and increase. They try to increase more features. So this is like iterative process. So the rational unified process try to improve from the what we call the waterfall model. Is what I mentioned here. This waterfall model is more sequential software development process model. The RUP is more iterative software development process. Try to improve from the waterfall model, but still they have one important phase which they refer as the requirements. And then we also have the current trends now going towards agile development. Agile software development process model aims at documenting only necessary requirements at a time. At each available sprint, they call it. They also iterative, meaning that they can start with just 1 or 2 requirements, or features, user features they mentioned, and after that they try to develop until the coding And then after that, they come with the second sprint. Second sprint, we will add another 2 requirements, for example. So they are iterative, but they are more agile, meaning that they don't document so much. Yeah, but still for them, requirements are the basic main element. Yeah, the requirements can be documented according to the sprint, and this is the basis, yeah, to meet the customer needs as well. Yeah, so you can see in any models that you go through for software development process, you can see that requirement phases is important. Yeah, but now, yeah, as time goes after 2000 and so on, they really think that requirements are very important. What they try to actually propose is not just you do once. Yeah, you don't do requirements engineering one-off projects. Yeah, and then after that you just do the analysis. What they try to do is that the requirement engineering process should be the evolutionary process. You should be doing it, most of the time. Organization need to understand requirements that they want most of the times. Yeah, but once they have the budget, they can specify, okay, for this particular project they're going to develop, I have identified these are the set of requirements that I want to use, I want to develop for these projects. Yeah, and then they have another budget, so they create another projects B, and then they try to come out, already developed or already identify a set of requirements that they have, all along try to understand requirements, they try to attribute that to project B. So and then after that for project C and so on. So that means they don't want the projects, you develop requirements process just for one project, or you try to actually develop just one off, because it's most likely you will miss many of the important requirements of the organization. All right, so that's the idea. Yeah. Okay, so basically we have introduced all the what is the types of requirements engineering, and then we have talked about the process, the activities, yeah, what is important for the RE process. Then the final thing, maybe, yeah, you want to know, if you want to be a good requirements engineer, what are the main characteristics that you should develop? Yeah, you should have actually, yeah, because like I mentioned earlier as well in one of the slides, we have the big task, we have the big job actually, try to convert the ambiguous requirements, yeah, from the users, from the customers, to make it a very concrete software systems. Yeah, so we'll be able to understand. So these are all the important skills that actually we should be developing, yeah, to be a good requirements engineer. The first thing is the analytical thinking. Yeah, we should be analytical. Yeah, try to actually understand and analyze complicated problems and relationships. Yeah, the more current system that have been developed, the more complex they will be. Yeah, so you have to actually always, yeah, practice yourself to understand and try to analyze. You analyze meaning that can be a very complex thing. You try to break it up, yeah, to understand each component of that. Yeah, and then you have to have empathy as well, because you need to understand what the users problems are. Yeah, empathy, good intuition, and must identify problems that might arise to other groups of stakeholders and act accordingly. Yeah, because it's not just important to, the requirements is not just like you're going to ask the user and they're going to tell you everything. That's not that easy. Yeah, requirements is like try to fishing. You call it fishing. Yeah, try to make sure that they try to give us the ideas what they want to do. Yeah, you try to, in other words, they call it many terms. Yeah, discovering requirements, try to actually elicit those requirements, because the requirements are not just out there to be identified. Yeah, you have to actually uncover that. Yeah, make sure that they try to understand what the users want. Yeah, and then you also should be able to have a kind of a conflict resolution skills, because it's possible, because in the organization especially, there can be a lot of conflicting things that can happen, the power handlings, the power, all these things. Yeah, so you have to actually identify conflicts and try to apply suitable techniques to resolve the conflicts. You should be able to have the moderation skills as well, because sometimes because of the time constraint and so on, you want to conduct workshops. You might invite several stakeholders together. You want to save time, so that you're going to actually moderate those workshops. Try to actually, ask them to do the discussion, try to do brainstorming and so on. Yeah, so the moderation skill is very important. Yeah, to be able to get the right requirements from them. And then, of course, all these require that you have the ability to defend your opinions, to accept criticism. Yeah, and then also to be persuasive. yeah, because it's not just about technical thing, yeah. You actually, when you have developed those systems, you actually have to persuade the customer to accept it, yeah, to accept your system that you have developed. That also need a lot of persuasions actually, yeah. So that's the reason we mentioned all this, not just technical skill. Of course, the technical skills are important, I mentioned, but many of these actually are soft skills, yeah, soft skills that you need to develop, yeah, to ensure that you'll be able to perform your job as the good requirements engineer. All right. I don't go this, I think. You want the Kahoot? Anyone? Anyone?
No.
You don't want, Chong Wei? Why? You want to finish fast? Maybe we try next time, yeah? All right. So this is also another class activity that we can do actually. What? I mean, it's a very long day for all of you, is it?
See, yes.
Yeah.
Very long? Okay, maybe we can discuss this next week, yeah? All right. But I just want to mention to you that we have project 1 and project 2. You can read from your project description. But for the project 1, actually, you have to identify one of the existing application. Yeah, you might want to identify one of these. You can have maybe you can select one of these projects. But what you need to do actually, you have to learn, investigate the important features of that particular system, and try to develop their system requirements, write their system requirements. Yeah. So project 1 actually is about investigating on the existing system, existing application systems. Yeah. And then you develop the SRS, so requirements specification, yeah, document, yeah, to actually mention all the requirements that has been developed already. So this is like reverse engineer, yeah, project 1. Yeah. Project 2 will be you develop the requirements for the proposed system, the system that you want to develop. All right. Okay, I think since many of you are tired, I guess. Is it Daniel? Are you there, Daniel, Harith? Or any ladies here? It's a Women's Day today. Yes, Daniel Harris, you want to say something? Maybe you can give me one important point that you learned from this class today. Daniel?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Louder. Yes, Daniel? No, sure. Okay. Come on. Anything that you learned today? You didn't learn anything from my class?
No. What we learned today is very important in software development, because without can be hard to progress on the project.
All right, the importance of having here. All right, thank you, Daniel. Elan, you want to say something, Elan? Elan Yong. Elan is here?
Yes,
Elan.
doctor.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, you doing well, Elan?
Still fine.
Okay, all right, so you want to say something? Any one point that you get from this class today?
Overall, I think that before we do anything, then we just need to have the requirement first. Then after that, only we do the system we want.
All right, so you get the point. Very good. Thank you, Ellen.
Okay.
Just maybe one more. Thank you. All right. Yeah, we have Mariana. Mariana, is it? Mariana, I call you, correct? Mariana? Are you there?
Yes, hello, yes.
Yes, all right. So you want to share with us one important point that you learned from this class today?
Well, we can't just start the project like that. We first have to think about everything that has to work together to construct the project.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Warjana. All right. That's a good point. Last one. I called Muhammad Azhan is here. Azhan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Azhan. So anything that you want to share with me, with us? One important point that you learned from this class?
What I learned in this class is that it's really important to get the requirements from our stakeholders like customers and our top management and so on before we proceed with our project. Before we deliver a system.
Okay, so you say the importance of RE. Thank you. Okay, so I think yeah, so we basically finish our lecture. Yeah, so you already have, if you have I mean, we try to actually do the tutorial. Yeah, even though we have the tutorial as the supporting things, yeah, just to make sure that you understand the material. That's why we have the tutorial. So if you have the chance, then we try to discuss the tutorial at the end of the class lah, yeah, if we have more time and so on, yeah. But sometimes we can have the tutorial session by itself, yeah, because sometimes I think that most of the question that we have can be discussed just after the class, yeah. So yeah, I try to update to you, yeah, the progress that we're going to have for the coming weeks, yeah. So if I upload to you the tutorial one, please do prepare, please do read the tutorial so that you'll be able to answer for the class lah, for the class discussion at the end of the class, or it can be by the tutorial session by itself. All right, okay. So, all right, I think that's all for this week, yeah, the starting week, yeah. And you get clear about the testing, the assessment as well. Yeah, you can start actually try to find your group members. I still leave to you because of the difficulty to assign to you the projects to the groups, yeah. So I leave to you flexibility to choose, but hopefully you can try to find some people that is out from your, you know, comfortable zone, yeah. Try to find someone, you know, that can help you to grow, yeah. You know, if you get more people from outside, from your comfortable zone, you can learn a lot from them, yeah. So please, yeah, not just from one particular, you know, a group, yeah, the same group, yeah, but try to mix around, yeah. So if you already have 3 and yourself, you can try to invite another 2 from different groups, yeah, to join your particular project groups. Okay.
Doctor.
Yes.
I think we still don't have the code to enter the team, Microsoft Team on Spectrum.
You don't have the code?
The code to enter the...
Oh, you can apply. You can apply direct to the team. I can accept you. You can apply to join the team. Yeah, you get the you know the name of the SRE class 2020-2021. The name of the team is SRE class 2020-2021. I write the chat here later. So you can apply to join this team, yeah. Our class will have the same link, yeah, for every class, yeah, even for the tutorial, yeah. All right, you get it?
Doctor,
okay,
we
so you can apply, so I will accept the applications lah, yeah.
We cannot see the...
Doctor, we actually cannot read if we're not in the team.
You cannot enter?
It's because it says that chat-in channel meetings is only available to team members, so you have to add us in the team.
Yeah, you have to apply as a team members lah. That's what I asked you to do. Now you start applying to me, and then I will accept, and then you become the team member. Currently, because you don't apply yet to be the team member.
Doctor, we cannot apply. We cannot apply to join if we don't have the team code.
The team code?
We need a code for that.
Oh, all right. Okay, I check it up and then I update at the Spectrum. I think I don't put any code there.
It will generate a code for the team.
Yeah, but for the previous SAM, they just apply to enter the code, the team, and then I will accept it. But never mind, I will check it out and then we'll put the necessary comments on the spectrum on how to join the team. Is it fine? You can apply, you can go into other teams, is it? Lim?
I can't find the team.
You cannot find the team.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've searched
right.
for the name.
SRE class.
Yeah.
SRE class, because there are several students already come into the conversation team. You already create conversations there, right? Some of you I saw. No. Never mind, never mind. I try to check the code. If there is a code, then I will share at the spectrum. Yeah. Okay, Lim. Okay, Lim. All right.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay, that will be fine. I think there's some issue of coding and so on maybe there. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Anything else?
Doctor, do we have a tutorial class tomorrow?
No, we don't have tutorial class tomorrow. All right, I think you still need to get another class. Another lecture before you can answer the question. Yeah.
So we have the next tutorial class.
Yeah, for this week you don't have the tutorial class.
So next week.
Next week I will inform to you whether the tutorial class will be conducted after the class or on Tuesday.
Okay, doctor.
Yeah, because our tutorial classes actually doesn't carry specific marks. Yeah, only helps you to answer and perform your projects. So that's the reason sometimes I think that some of the question can just be answered in the classroom. Yeah, as a session of the deck. We does not need but if there is a need for that, I will ask you to come to the tutorial class. All right? Okay, is it fine? Clear, Zamil?
Yes,
so
doctor.
please always look up at your spectrum lah. I always update the things over there.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, anything else? All right, so far. So we see you next Monday. Yeah, see you next Monday at 4. Yeah, inshallah. See you next Monday. Thank you so much for but if you participate and let me know your name later on, it must be easier for me, so that you can also get higher marks a little bit maybe for your participation. All right, all the best. Yeah, thank you. See you then next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Next time, please remind me to record the lecture. I forget
Thank
to
you,
record the
doctor.
lecture. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Waalaikumsalam.